want to say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right, first and foremost, we thank each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively for the co-creation of this interaction and the allowance of this transmission in this way. Each and every time you allow us to interact with your civilization like this, it affords us an opportunity to learn that many more perspectives within the multidimensional crystal of all that is. So we thank you for the gift of your sharing. We would like to begin this transmission with the following idea: using the tools. We have, over time, for the past 30 of your years, shared with you many ideas, many tools that you can use based on the nature of, the structure of existence. And these tools, when used in alignment with the nature and structure of existence, will allow you more conscious manifestation, more conscious awareness of the fact that you are creating your reality, more conscious control over exactly how to allow yourself to align with the flow of creation in order to experience your physical lives in the most joyful way possible, in the most harmonious way possible. However, sometimes in our interactions with many of you, we realize that while you may have in your minds the information of the tools we have shared with you, it is a very different thing to have the information, to know the information from the actual application of the information in your reality. It is important always that the application of these tools, these ideas, these concepts that we and others similar to us share with all of you at this time be actually grounded in your physical reality through action, through actual physical application, because in creating a physical experience, you yourselves are saying that you want to have an experience of a process that allows you to discover new aspects, new perspectives of yourself, and in so doing, you will allow yourself to know that your physical experience is the expression of your spirit, expression of your soul's journey, the expression of your spiritual investigation of yourself. And so physical action acts like a commitment, like a grounding, like a connection that demonstrates that you know you are in alignment with creation, reflects to creation that you are willing to align with it. It is all well and good to keep these ideas in your head, all well and good to understand the information intellectually, but it is a very different thing, and you create a very different effect in your life when you actually learn how to appropriately apply these tools in your physical reality. We have talked about many tools, such as the understanding of what we call the 5 laws of existence, and the understanding of the tool of acting on your highest excitement, that 3-part formula that allows for excitement to begin to open up and function synchronistically in your life as a complete kit. The idea of the 5 laws is simply that you exist, which means that if you exist now, you always will. You may change form, but you will always exist. Your point of view is unique and will always exist, because if you didn't exist, all that is would not be all that it could be. So you are valuable, you are worthy, you are deserving of that existence. And to go into states of unworthiness, lack of deservability, in essence, is to argue with creation about your value. Please believe us, if you were not absolutely crucial to the idea of all that is being all that is, you would not exist. It doesn't make mistakes, so you cannot be a mistake. in any way, shape, or form. Thus, when you allow yourself to stop arguing with creation about your worth and start aligning with the idea that you are in existence for a reason, then you can experience that existence more in alignment with creation, with the flow of creation, and allow yourself the benefit of that relationship, of that positively oriented relationship with creation. Law number 2 is simply that everything is here and now. That time and space, in a sense, are your projections, your illusions that allow you to experience the process of discovering yourself from another point of view. The third law is that the one is all, the all are one, which means that separation is an illusion as well. Everything is the same one thing from a different point of view. So you are all that is, experiencing itself as an aspect of itself, as another point of view of itself, as another perspective of itself, so that it can experience itself from all the possible perspectives that it can and know and discover itself in that way. Because you see, the structure itself never really changes. But your experience of it, your point of view of it, does. And that's what expands creation. The fourth law is what you put out is what you get back, which simply means whatever frequency you operate on, whatever definitions you hold to be true, generate a particular energetic vibration that you radiate. And because physical reality is just an illusion, is really nothing more than a mirror, it reflects back to you the ideas that you are giving off, the beliefs that you are holding to be true. And so when you experience your physical reality, if you find that it requires, in your opinion, some adjustment, the first thing to adjust is the definitions within you, because the definitions, what you believe to be true, what you define to be true, are the fundamental foundation of your experience of physical reality, and everything is built upon that. Emotions and feelings stem from something you believe to be true. You cannot have an emotion or a feeling about anything unless you have a definition of that thing first. So when you have emotions, when you have thoughts, when you have behaviors that you believe are out of alignment with who you prefer to be, you can trace those behaviors and trace those thoughts and trace those feelings back to what kind of a definition would have to exist in order to generate those kinds of feelings, those kinds of thoughts, those kinds of behaviors, and the consequential experience that stems therefrom. It all begins with the foundational belief and definition, in much the same way that building a house has to begin with a foundation, and everything else is on top of that. The emotions being the builders of the house, the thoughts being the building materials of the house, the behaviors being how you find living in that house, the quality of life in that house. So if you find that the house is a little bit stifling, if you find that it is falling apart, if you find in that sense that it's not being built in the way that you would prefer, go back to the blueprint, go back to the foundation, make the adjustments there, and everything else will follow suit. The fifth law is that everything changes except the first four laws. So things will always change, as we said. You will always be discovering a new idea, a new point of view, a new perspective of yourself. That's how creation expands, and that's the nature of it. The idea of your excitement is simply that what you call joy, what you call excitement, what you call passion, what you call happiness and creativity and love and peace and balance are your physical body's way of translating the frequency that is your true signature vibration, the core essence of your being. So anytime you're willing to use the three-part formula of acting on your excitement, you will be harmoniously aligned with the core nature of your being, and thus you will flow easily and not experience resistance in your life. The three-part formula is as follows: to act at every given moment that you can on the thing that contains the highest amount of excitement. Number 2, to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further. Number 3, with absolutely zero insistence or assumption as to what the outcome ought to look like or how you should get there, because your physical mind has absolutely no way of knowing how it's actually really going to happen. So as long as you allow your physical mind to believe that it's in charge of knowing how something is supposed to happen, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle. Because your physical mind is not designed to know how something is actually going to happen. Your physical mind is only designed to know what's happening right now, to experience it. That's what it's for. But the higher mind knows, the non-physical aspect of your being called the higher mind, the soul, the spirit, that knows how something can best happen to align with the theme you chose to explore in this life as a physical being. So let the higher mind do its job, let the physical mind do its job, let them work together in concert by following the formula of excitement that will allow you to experience excitement as the complete kit of tools that you need in your life. And what we mean by that is as follows. When you act on this formula every moment that you can, you are aligning like a compass needle to your true magnetic north, and that acts as a key to unlock the tools in the kit of excitement. And those tools essentially are this. You start to experience excitement in your life when you follow the formula as the driving engine of your life, the motivating force in your life. You experience it as the organizing principle of your life. You experience more synchronicity that brings things to you at exactly the right moment, the right place, the right time, with whom you exactly need to experience it with. It is the path of least resistance in your life. Because when you clear yourself of definitions that don't align with your true being, then you experience no resistance. You flow, glide effortlessly and smoothly and joyfully through life. It is the thread that connects to all other expressions of excitement in your life, because your excitement can be expressed in many different ways. And excitement and acting on it, whatever contains the highest amount of it at any given moment, lets you know that even though on the surface it may not seem to be connected to anything else you did that contained excitement, the excitement tells you that it is connected. Not how it looks on the surface. You have a saying on your planet, don't judge a book by its cover. This is how it works. Follow the thread of excitement in something. Don't gauge that it's connected to other things by how it looks, because excitement can come in many forms, and it will take the path of least resistance to you to allow you to continue on that path of excitement. And sometimes that path of least resistance has to look very different than the path it took before. But it will find you. It's like electricity. It's like water. It will find you. As long as you are open to allowing it to come along the path of least resistance and don't insist that it must come in a certain way. That's your ego talking. That's your physical mind thinking it knows best. It does not. But when it works in concert with the higher mind, then you function as a whole person and can experience life in a more holistic way instead of a segregated experience of details and compartmentalizations that makes it seem to be a very difficult thing to put that picture back together. Let yourself open up to the holistic idea that your higher mind will guide you like someone on a mountaintop who can see down and easily see the path you are walking through life and is telling you, go left, go right, go left, go straight, go left, go right. The physical mind, in ignoring that, will constantly fall into a bunch of holes or off a cliff. But when you pay attention to the higher mind's messages that come through synchronicity or by whatever method they may come, then you find that you are guided unerringly in the direction of the things you really want to experience that will allow you to become who you truly know yourself to be, allow you to experience more of your greater being, and allow you to function more holistically as a whole person. When you only rely on the physical mind's guidance in physical reality, you're only functioning as half a person, and that simply makes you, for lack of a better term, a half-wit. The other component of excitement, when you allow excitement to act as a complete kit, is that it acts as the reflecting mirror that reveals to you, in a variety of ways, the things within your unconscious mind that might actually be out of alignment with your true self, so that you can identify them, integrate them, bring them back into alignment, and expand your excitement in that way. So it is a very powerful kit that contains everything you need. It is complete. And that means, by definition, it leaves nothing out. Nothing at all. So when you understand the kit, when you understand the formula, when you understand the laws, when you understand how to look at creation and see the actual nature of it, the actual structure of it, you'll be able to use it to your advantage, to your benefit, differently than you're using it now. You do use it now. But if you're finding that there are things in your life that you don't prefer, it's simply that you are putting information into the mechanism that is negative because of the definitions you're holding on to, and so the mechanism can do nothing but give you a reflection of that negativity. It doesn't care what you choose. It is absolutely unbiased. It is completely and absolutely and totally balanced and fair. If you decide that you're going to have a negative belief system, the mechanism of creation simply says, okay, and reflects that to you. If you decide you're going to have a positive belief system, the mechanism of creation says, okay, and reflects that to you. It doesn't care what you choose. It doesn't have a mind of its own. It was designed to be completely and utterly neutral so that you could give life meaning. Without you giving life meaning, life has no automatic built-in meaning. The circumstances and situations you experience are simply neutral events, neutral props. You have the power. You've been given the free will. You've been given the ability to insert the meaning you believe is most true for you, and regardless of anyone else's intention in that circumstance, regardless of how that situation or circumstance might have initially been generated from a negative energy, you still have at every single moment the opportunity to completely neutralize that situation for yourself and determine that it is only positive for you so that you can get a positive beneficial effect from it. Please understand that everything we're telling you here is just simple physics. That's all this is. It's just vibrations, it's resonance, it's energy physics. That's all it is. It's very basic, it's very simple. Yes, we understand that creation is richly complex, but it's not complicated. At its core, it is very, very simple. So in our discussions back and forth, this day of your time in this transmission, please do your best to keep in mind that these are the tools that will help you sail through life and expand your consciousness and expand your experience in positive and beneficial, constructive and creative, loving and joyful ways, and allow yourself to gain whatever clarity it is important for you to gain to apply these tools cleanly, precisely, impeccably in your lives so that you can get the response, get the effect, and have the experience that you know in your heart of hearts would be reflective of who you know yourselves to truly be. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. Then, in return for the gift you are giving us, in allowing us to experience you this way, I ask in return, in what way may we now be of service to you with your questions and comments? You may begin.
Perfect. Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Shavai.
Shivai.
First, I'd like to start with a statement.
Oh, all right.
It's very exciting.
Yes.
And was in Los Angeles for Amazing Life and the Passion Principle.
Yes.
And experienced a lot of synchronicity.
All right, thank you.
Met the love of my life at that event.
All right.
It was very synchronistic when you look at the name and so forth. And we've been having amazing synchronicities in our experience together. I'd like to share a little bit about that, and then
very briefly.
One of the beautiful things that was experiencing is that we shared an experience of telepathic communication.
Yes.
And
which is simply being on the same wavelength at the same time and having the same thoughts at the same time.
It was very interesting because
yes.
I would think a thought and she would answer my questions
yes.
without me.
That's how it works.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And,
that's why people in love often know what each other is thinking, because they're having the same thoughts at the same time, because they operate on a similar wavelength. Telepathy is not actually reading each other's mind, it's simply mirroring each other.
So it gave me a glimpse a little bit into the excitement that you live in your daily life.
Constantly.
And gave me a taste of that.
Yes.
It's pretty yummy.
Tastes pretty good, yes.
It's very, very yummy.
All right.
So I'm looking forward to more of that.
All right, if you wish.
And I would like to know, I was just curious in this relationship if we actually share the same oversoul.
Not going to tell you that. You have some things to explore before you get to the point of investigating those kinds of ideas for now. You're going through a particular beginning process that will enrich itself in a variety of ways, and right now that information will not necessarily be of benefit to you.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough. And The other thing is, about a month ago during a healing, I received a message that I'd be here today and that Bashar would have a message for me. Not sure what that message would be. I just wondering.
Well, I guess you may find out in the course of this interaction.
Okay.
Do you trust your synchronicity?
Oh, absolutely.
Well then, remember this. Remember this. Remember, all of you, this. We are always sending everything we possibly can. It's not about needing to ask us to give you more messages than we're already delivering, because we're already sending you every single wavelength, every single bit of information, every single piece of energy we are allowed to send you. So it's not about that you're not getting it from us. If you're not perceiving it, then it's either simply not time to perceive it, or you're doing something to shut it off. So the idea is the more you open up, the more you will perceive what is already being transmitted, and then you will experience the reception of it. But you never have to ask us to give you special messages, ask us for more than we are giving, and we're not just talking about ourselves. This goes for the idea of the spirit guides, other dimensional beings, angelic realms. You are always being given. It is always being flowed to you from source. Nothing is ever withheld from you from anywhere else. Anything being withheld is being withheld by you. Now, that can be for a positive reason or a negative reason. Sometimes it's just not the right timing for you to receive something. But if it is, and you're simply open to it and willing to align with yourself and raise your frequency, then it's not possible to miss any information you need to receive. The paradox is that the only way to miss that information is to spend time and energy wondering if you're going to miss that information. But if you don't spend your time and energy that way and just get on about living your life in the most ecstatic way you can, then it's not possible for you to miss the information you need. But it will not come a moment before you need it, and it will not come a moment after. It will come precisely when you need it. And that's the message we have for you.
So I'm trusting I'm not missing out on anything. So.
Not possible unless you spend time worrying that you will.
And I don't. So
all right then. Enjoy.
I had a question. Hopefully you could share some information.
Hopefully?
I am counting on that you're going to share some information with me. And
I just did.
I know. This is in regards to John the Baptist.
Yes.
And I'm aware of a connection with that energy, and I was just wondering if you could share a little bit of information about that.
Take what that particular individual represents as the idea of preparing a path, and allow yourself to see in your own life and the things that you choose that every choice you make will affect the path that you choose to be. Remember that you're not on a path, you are a path. And so the idea of John the Baptist, vibrationally speaking, is really not so much the idea of the preparing of a path, but truly being the path that you chose to be. Yes?
Yes.
All right.
I had one last question.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You will get your answer from another.
Thank you.
Sure. Hello, Bashar.
I knew you. Good day.
Yes.
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
Okay. Before I used to be connected to a higher level of conscious, and for some reason I'm disconnected.
No, you are not.
So why I'm not
No, you are not.
Why I'm not listening to the voice?
Because things change, as we said. And as you change, you become a different person, then the connections you have sometimes have to be expressed in different ways. You're making an assumption that you're disconnected, and so you're experiencing the idea of disconnection, but that's only because you made an assumption that you were disconnecting just because something changed. Don't give it a negative meaning, and you won't experience it in a negative way. Understand that things change. Go with the flow. look for the way in which the connection now expresses itself differently now that you are a different person. Things will never stay the same. Remember, it's the fifth law. Everything changes. Yes?
Yes.
So never make the assumption that something has gone wrong. Otherwise, that's the only way you can experience it. Assume that something has simply changed in a different form because you have changed. Look for the different form and flow with it. That's what allows you to start investigating and discovering more of yourself. The change is acting like a carrot to lure you. Oh, what happened? What happened? Something has changed. Something is different. I must now go searching for what that difference is. And thus, the change lures you into discovering more of your true being.
Wow,
You're never disconnected. You can't be disconnected. If you actually were disconnected, you wouldn't exist. So, you can never be disconnected. It's just that the expression, the format, the presentation changes. Go with the flow. All right?
Okay. Because before I used to go to the higher level of conscious so easy, and now it takes me like more time. I had to spend more.
Then maybe you need to be expressing the energy some other way. That's what we're saying. Do something different with the energy. May I ask you a question?
Sure.
Thank you. Are you acting to the best of your ability every single moment that you can on your highest excitement in life? Yes or no?
No.
Thank you for your honesty. Then that's where you need to apply the information and energy you've already received. Because why should you receive more if you haven't used what you've already been given? Yes?
Yes.
Don't just keep going back to the well over and over again when your cup is already full. Drink what you've been given, then empty your cup, then you can go back to the well. Yes?
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right. Well,
Okay.
what's holding you back from acting on your highest excitement?
Fear.
Of
Judgment.
judgment from others?
For my family.
From your family?
Yeah.
What have they got to do with your life?
Yeah, that's
I
true.
am not saying that you cannot respect them. I am not saying that you cannot respect their point of view. But it's up to you to decide, whatever it is, whatever point of view they share with you as to what is relevant for you and not relevant for you. Because remember, they have their own lives, you have your own life. Yes, of course, you can reflect things to one another. Yes, you can act as guides for one another, but it's still, bottom line, up to you to decide what's true for you. So, they are not you are you are unique. They can never know exactly what you're experiencing, even though they say they might know. So you can take time to say, all right, well, let's hear what you have to say, and I'll decide whether what you have to say is something I can apply in my life in the way I prefer to, or whether I need to do something a little bit different. Yes?
Yes.
You have no business comparing yourself to anyone else, because it's not possible to compare yourself to anyone else. You are unique.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yeah, yes, makes sense.
All right, so I know this sounds a little bit funny in your language, but really, the strongest way you can express compassion in your life for yourself and for others on a certain level is to not care what other people think of you.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Because you are you. They're not living your life, you are. Yes?
Yes.
All right, well, you're also, if I may add, by not being your full self, you're depriving your family of an opportunity to see who you actually are.
Okay.
Why would you take away from them the gift of your true being? Why would you deprive the world of the gift you have to give by not being who you truly are? There are people waiting to share things with you, but they can't find you because you're not being the full you.
Oh my God, that's true.
I know, that's why I said it. So, in order to really be bold in life, decide what works for you, decide what does not work for you, and move forward. Yes?
Okay, yes, I will do it.
All right, not because we said so,
No,
because
I will.
that's what you really prefer. Yes?
Yes.
All right. There is absolutely no circumstance and no situation in life that is inherently difficult. Only your definitions of that situation and your relationship to it make it feel difficult. So change your definition, and the way you experience any situation will also change. Yes?
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Do you believe you can go forward in your life in the way that you prefer to now?
Yes, I will.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
One question.
Yes.
Before being from another dimension used to come and talk to me. So if I apply all this, are they going to come back?
Say that again.
Some beings, like live beings, used to come from another
Yes.
dimension and talk
Will
to
they
me.
come back if
Yeah.
you change?
Yeah.
Possibly, but who cares? Because if you're going in the direction of what you prefer, if you're living your life to the fullest, what difference does it make how your life unfolds? Because every unfoldment will still be exactly what it needs to be. So don't insist on the form it must come in. Remember the formula of excitement? Act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability with zero insistence on how things should look.
Okay.
Just know that you will be given what you need. That's all. Who cares where it comes from if it feels correct? Yes?
Yes.
All right. And remember, you have guides, you all have guides, but the guide's first duty is to remind you that you are your own best guide. So don't rely on the advice of others, not even us. Rely on your own internal guidance, because you know who you are when you just stop and allow yourself to know who you are, and you will know what to do to be yourself. That's all it takes. So don't worry or wonder whether something is going to come back or whether it's going to happen in a certain way. If it does, then that's what was relevant for you. If it doesn't happen that way, then it wasn't relevant. So if it's not relevant, why would you want it?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You see how simple this is when you apply logic?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's true.
Does that help you?
Yes.
Then thank you very much.
No, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
2 days ago,
Speak up.
I saw a UFO-like balloon, metallic
Yes.
figure when I was
All right, how exciting.
outside of Palm Springs.
Yes.
What was it about?
Let me ask you a question. May I?
Sure.
There is an airport somewhere nearby you. There are planes taking off from it right now.
Yes.
What are those planes all about?
Carrying passengers
Yes. To where?
everywhere.
Yes. So, why do you think my answer would be different?
No, I was curious about where that spaceship was from, or was it a spaceship?
Yes.
From which?
Where is the plane that's taking off from?
Pardon me?
Where is the plane that's taking off right now? Where is that plane from? Where's it going? The plane that's taking off right now.
Right.
Where's it going? Where's it from?
I don't know.
Exactly. In other words, if it is relevant for us to know, we will know. But we don't keep track of every single traveler. You understand that you are a hub. There are thousands of ships coming and going, passing by, for a variety of reasons. There are Pleiadian ships, there are hybrid ships, there are a variety of ships. There are Essassani ships, there are Yael ships. They are doing different things for different reasons at different times. Sometimes they are observing, sometimes they're taking readings, sometimes they're just passing through. We don't keep track of every single coming and going.
Okay, so I understand that your ship is above Sedona.
At this moment, yes.
What about any alien ships above the island of Japan?
Of Japan,
Yes.
yes. We ourselves have a ship there, and other civilizations have ships that are above that area on your planet as well.
And what are their roles?
What?
What are their roles?
Mostly to balance energy on your planet, to aid and assist you in stabilizing the energy so that you can work with the energy more easily and transform the planet in the way that you prefer to?
Okay, the question I'm asking is because I'm from that island, and
Speak up.
I'll be back in Japan in about a month or so.
Yes, and so?
Is there any suggestions for me?
For what?
In particular to work on.
Act on your highest excitement.
Okay.
Did we not explain that?
Yes.
Did you think it was going to be more different than that?
Yes and no.
You want us to tell us what, in that sense, that your
More
life is all
specifically?
about?
Yes, specifically.
Why? Why
not?
should we tell you what your life is about?
Well, why not?
Because it's your life.
Okay.
Oh, you want us to open all your presents for you. You want us to spill the beans. You want us to let the cat out of the bag so that your life will become a dull, joyless experience with no surprises in it. Is that what you're saying?
Not really.
Not really. But you want us to give you a hint.
Yes.
Oh, all right. What is, at this point in your life, one of the main expressions of your excitement?
Traveling.
Traveling. What do you get out of it? What do you learn from that?
Get in touch with nature.
Get in touch with nature. Why is that exciting for you?
Because it's a reflection of myself.
Well, everything is, but why that specifically?
Become.
You want us to be specific?
Yes.
You need to be specific. Why that specifically?
Because I think
Yes?
nature is. When I see nature, I see the purity, more purity, or the
Purity. All right.
my whole self.
Is that something you would like to share with other people?
Yes.
Is that something you do share with other people? Mm-hmm. How many?
How many?
Yes, how many other people do you share that with?
Through social networks.
Through social networks?
And friends.
How do you share nature through social networks?
Through images, through words,
Through
communications.
words? You mean you don't actually go with them out into nature?
Some.
Some. Would you
But
like to
most
do
of them-
that
But
more?
most of them,
Would you like to do that more?
yes.
Then why don't you?
Okay, so that, I guess that's the hint.
Hint, hint.
Okay.
Why not be a nature guide for people and help them, help people who otherwise might not have the ability, have the opportunity to experience the beauty of nature? Why not do something to give them an opportunity to experience nature if it excites you so much?
Okay, thank you. And last question would be, you talked about the splitting prisms
Yes.
beyond 2012. and
Yes.
the railroad tracks.
Yes.
So can you give me like a hint or a
You like
synchronicity?
hints, don't
Yes.
you?
Or keywords for the next 3 to 6 months?
Well, the tracks are getting farther apart. Are you on the train you want to be on? Because it's going to be more difficult to jump from one train to another when the tracks start widening. Yes? No?
Yes?
Are you sure?
Yes?
Don't sound so confident. Now, the only thing we will share with you at this time is what has already been shared, and that is, and we're not saying exactly what this means at this point, except to say it touches on many different things, and that is, in the fall of your year of 2016, everything changes. That's the biggest hint we can give you. All right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, listen to you all buzzing.
Yeah, okay. Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
Hi, thank you for inviting me over here. Thank you for inviting me over here to speak to you.
You invited yourself. Thank you.
Well, here we go. I have a question.
Yes.
This is about my personal experience.
Yes. What personal experience?
It was about, I was 18,
Yes.
and then
This did happen to you, yes?
No, it was just 5 minutes.
Is it something that happened to you?
Yes, it was happening to me.
All right, so what was it?
I was performing piano in
Yes.
front of people. I
Yes.
was overwhelmed, I was excited, and then also very nervous. It was my first recital.
Oh, all right, how exciting.
And then this piece I was playing, it was a short piece, 5 minutes.
Yes.
I felt the piece I was playing, I could see like the structure rather than
Yes.
the piece of music I have to spend
Yes, yes,
5
yes.
minutes.
Yes.
Then
Does this
it's-
puzzle you?
Yes, because I was very young, unexperienced. I wasn't so sure what was it.
Well, does it puzzle you now?
I'm guessing.
You don't
that-
understand that every single one of you have the ability to get into a channeling state? It's a natural altered state.
So was that the channeling you'd say? Because I was wondering.
Everyone has the ability to get into a channeling state. It's a natural state that you get in when you're doing what you love to do, when you're going with the flow, when you're experiencing alignment, when you say you're in the zone, when you're experiencing peak performance. That's a channeling state. And when you get into that state, you have the ability to experience expanded sensory awareness. And you see things and experience things on a multitude of interdimensional levels. It's a natural result of expanding your awareness by being in the flow and in alignment with your true self. That's what you experienced.
So you are saying I saw the higher dimension.
Yes.
Just that 5 minutes.
This is the natural symptomatic result of the expansion of consciousness, and more of you, as you expand your consciousness, are going to find that your senses are capable of experiencing things that heretofore were invisible. You're going to start having senses that penetrate beyond space and time into other dimensions. This is one of the symptoms of transforming from third to fourth density. It's a natural thing that more of you are going to experience. Flexibility in space and time, malleability, things not being so solid, all sorts of synchronicity and magical, miraculous things appearing, energy, colors, structures you've never seen before, communication with other beings from other levels. These are all the natural results of expanding your consciousness in fourth density physical reality. So this is your way of knowing that when you were aligned in that energy, because you remember how that felt, yes?
I still remember.
Yes, all right. Well, understand this. This is very important. Pay attention. All you have to do, and here's the paradox, all you have to do is remember that experience and that feeling, and as soon as you remember it, you're automatically in the same state. And that's the state to come from in doing everything else in your life. That's your key vibrational state. Now, here's even more the paradox about this. Because remember, we have always said you cannot experience what you're not the vibration of first. So the idea of using the memory to get back in the state is actually backwards from what's happening. You actually have to be in the state to actually have the memory of having been there before. So as soon as you go, oh, I remember that, you don't have to do anything else to get back in that state. You're actually in the state the moment you have the memory, because you have to be in the state to have the memory of the state. Therefore, even though it may feel a little bit different than it did when you were actually in it before, it is the same state, but it's altered for who you are now and what you're experiencing now. But that's the state. That's your signature core frequency. So anything you do in life, in following your excitement, come from that state. Be in that state when you take action, and then things will be done very clearly and in alignment.
I have a question. So you said I should...
I didn't say you should do anything.
Okay, so I would, if I would like to be there, just
Yes.
remember that and being
Yes.
there. So what about this process to get there? I was very nervous, I was scared. Can I just skip that part and being there easily without being a little
You
too...
can,
Oh, okay, that's good.
to a degree.
That's good.
To a degree. Let me put it this way. Remember that there is nothing negative about process. Process is the point. of why you have a life. You want to experience, to some degree, the process of discovery. That's what it's all about. Unless you forget who you are and go through the process of remembering, you can't discover yourself from a new perspective. That's why you created the experience of space and time. So, you will go through some process because process is the point. The journey is the destination. That's the point of your life, is to go through a process of self-discovery. However, you don't have to associate the idea of process with negativity. And you don't have to assume that you're not spiritual if you're still going through a process. It's just a different kind of process. When you finally cross the threshold in your process where you have let go of all the things that happen to be negative or out of alignment with who you prefer to be, you can still experience the idea of process, but you'll only experience exactly the amount of process you still know you need in order to appreciate the discoveries you make, and you will experience the idea of process in a slightly different way. No longer will it be an issue of letting go of negativity. It will now, once you cross the threshold into positive energy, be a process of letting go of what is simply no longer relevant for you. You understand?
Yes.
That's the difference. So there is nothing wrong with process. You want the process, or you can't have an experience of self-discovery. So, but you can reduce the process to whatever is minimally necessary for you to have the fullest appreciation of the discovery that you make in that process. And remember, we did give you another tool long time ago called the threshold of believability. That is a very powerful permission slip tool for reducing the amount of process or the amount of time things can take. You want us to remind you of that tool?
Yes. Sure.
All right. Threshold of believability is this. If you have something in mind, a picture in mind that represents an ideal state of something, then allow yourself the opportunity to create a kind of a time scale and say, all right, here is this thing that I would prefer to manifest. I'm very excited about the manifestation, the experiencing of this ideal circumstance or situation. Now, starting at a time you believe is way more than enough time to manifest it, you start there and go, do I believe, without a moment's hesitation, yes or no, that 20 years is more than enough time to manifest this? Yes, 20 years, no problem. I can see that without a hitch. Do you believe that 15 years is more than enough time for that manifestation to occur? 15 years, that's a long time. Yes, absolutely. I have no problem believing it can manifest before 15 years. Do you believe 10 years is enough? Yes, no problem. Do you believe 5 years is enough? Absolutely, no problem. Do you believe 3 years is enough? Maybe. As soon as you hesitate even for a second to say yes, absolutely, no problem, that's how long it will take with your present belief system. And then you can say, all right, what would I have to believe is true in order for it to take that amount of time to manifest? Find out what that belief is, identify it, integrate it, let it go, take the test again. Do I believe 10 years? No problem. Do I believe 5 years is enough time? Yes, absolutely. 3 years? Yes. Now with my new belief system, absolutely not a problem. 2 years? Yes. 1 year? Maybe. Keep going down, finding the belief that makes it take that much time until there are no more beliefs. Whatever amount of time is left at that point is the natural amount of time the process needs to take for you to have a full appreciation of the creation of that manifestation. That's how it works. It's that simple. Does that help?
Yes. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But please remember this. 2 important factors. Number 1, the definition of manifestation is not bringing something to you you don't have. It's making visible what's already here by matching its frequency. You already have everything you need, you just don't know it yet because you can't see it because you're not the wavelength of it yet. It's important to understand that that's a very important distinction in the idea and the definition of manifestation. Number 2, Many people on your planet use this concept of visualization to manifest things, and that's all well and good as a permission slip, but many of you are not using visualization in the most powerful way you could be. If you have a visualization of what you believe is the ideal reality, that's all well and good, but that visualization, that picture of seeing yourself in that ideal reality, number one, needs to be seeing yourself after the fact of that reality happening, because you know that once something has already happened, that's a very different energy than waiting for it to happen, isn't it? So have the energy that it's already happened, you're already living it, it's already there, and feel and see yourself in that visualization already living that, and feel how exciting that is to you. As soon as you reach the peak of excitement in seeing that visualization, utterly, totally, absolutely drop the picture. Don't insist on it looking anything like the picture. The only purpose for the picture that your physical mind created was to get you into the state of excitement that's equivalent to whatever the manifestation actually needs to be. Now, sometimes it might coincidentally look very similar to the picture you had, but more often than not, it will look nothing like it. In fact, it will actually look many times better than you imagine. So if you understand that that visualization is just a symbol of the reality, a symbol of the manifestation, and you just let the energy stand and drop the picture, then the higher mind can actually take that spot that you just created, that vacuum you just created, and fill it with the picture, with the reality, with the experience that actually is representative of the state of excitement that the picture helped you generate. That's how you use visualization. Because the idea is, and the reason this works, is because your physical mind has no idea how something actually might happen. It's not built to know how something might actually happen. And what it thinks of as the absolute pinnacle of existence from the higher mind's perspective might be just the beginning, and it could actually give you something many times greater than you were capable of imagining with the physical mind. So if you understand that the visualization that your physical mind is capable of generating is actually a limitation on how magnificently the manifestation could happen, you would drop it like a hot potato. Because you don't want to limit the way it could happen if you know it could happen many times more powerfully. Would you? No. So don't think that you have to maintain that particular image. Just let it generate the excitement. Hand the excitement over to your higher mind. Let the higher mind bring you whatever it needs to bring you, and always assume that the next thing that happens is part of your excitement, part of the path of leading you to everything you need to be led to. Give it a positive meaning, and you will see that it will have a beneficial and positive effect. That's how it works. Does that help you? Yes? No? Maybe? Yes. All right. Well, thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Actually, listening to you talk to the others in front of me,
Speak up, speak up.
listening to you answering the other people that spoke before me,
Yes.
pretty much answered a lot of my questions.
How synchronous of you.
And I just want to know how I can further manifest at the higher level as you spoke.
So it didn't answer all your
Yeah.
questions. Are you already forgetting the formula we gave you at the beginning of this transmission?
I've been using it.
Then what else do you believe you need?
More tools.
More tools. You want to complicate your life, not simplify it then. Yes?
I want it simple.
I beg your pardon?
I want it simple
You want it simple. Then why are you asking for more tools?
because it seems I need more than manifesting it to happen.
Why does it seem that way? And what is it you expect to happen?
Changes.
Changes aren't happening? You just
There-
changed billions of times in the last few seconds.
There has been good changes, but I just need to be more.
Here's one tool. You are always changing, but you don't believe you are. When you understand how thoroughly you're changing every moment and actually buy into how thoroughly you become a different person every moment, you will experience what it is you need to experience that is relevant for the change you now know has actually happened. You're always changing. You can't help but change. You change literally billions of times per second. When you understand that, it's not about how do I learn to change, it's about what do you want to define the next change to be? Who do you want to define yourself to be as the next person? And you will have the reality of the person you define yourself to be at that moment. So you need to wrap your mind around the fact that you're actually always changing and you can't help yourself. So it's not about learning to change you or anything else. Everything changes all the time. It's about being in the frequency that is representative of the stream of changes you prefer to experience so that you only experience those. At the same time, please remember, are you paying attention?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Listening very carefully?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. At the same time, remember, all of you, the measure of change is not when the outside changes. The measure of change is that you respond differently to the outside, even if it still looks the same. That's how you prove you've actually changed. Because if you've really changed, if you're really in alignment with the vibration you prefer to be, you couldn't care less what the outside looks like or what happens out there. And as soon as you actually stop caring whether the outside changes to match the things you prefer, then because that's a true change, the outside will have no choice but to change to reflect it. But as long as you make the change within you conditional on the outside having to change to reflect it, that means you haven't changed and therefore the outside never will. It's like saying I'm looking in a mirror and I'm seeing my reflection frown. Well, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to wait, and I'm not going to smile until that reflection smiles first. You'll be standing there forever. But when you decide, oh, heck with this, I don't care if the reflection smiles, I'm going to smile because that's what I prefer to do. Then suddenly you look at the reflection and go, oh, the reflection is smiling. How magical, what a coincidence. But the idea is you have to not care that it is going to smile back. Just let it be the mirror that it is, and change within yourself because that's what you prefer, regardless of whether the mirror changes or whether it's even there. That's the secret to manifestation. Do you understand?
Yes.
Does this help?
It does. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Is that enough tools for now? We're always happy to bog you down with more tools if you really want it. But it is our preference that you understand that you will gain more benefit by streamlining yourself and dropping the tools and just being your own permission slip and just giving yourself permission to be who you know you are. It's that simple.
Hello, brother.
And to you, good day.
A little nervous. The whole ride over here, I was thinking to myself.
You must speak up clearly.
The whole ride over here, I was thinking to myself, man, I'm gonna get picked. What am I gonna ask? And the whole time is, what is my question? What is my question? And I got picked. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well, then what's your question?
Well, there really is no question.
Exactly. And that's a good answer.
And
is it not more to your wish that you know the answers rather than getting lost in questions?
Yes, exactly.
Well, there you go. You got your answer. You
Yep.
have taken the little bent over question mark and you have straightened it out into an exclamation point.
Yes.
Remember, all of you, that any time you come up with a question, the only reason you can even conceive of that question is the answer must reside somewhere within you too. Or you've been never been able to think of the question.
Yes.
Two sides of the same coin.
Right.
Answer, question, question, answer.
Right.
Yes, so, anything else you would like to share?
Yes. Maybe you can guide me a little bit if my thinking is off.
Maybe.
But I was thinking why you always say to follow your highest excitement and joy.
Yes, I explained that.
Yeah, you did, but I was kind of ignoring you and thinking...
Oh, all right. Then perhaps we'll return the favor.
Well, hopefully, because that's how I got my answer. You know, I was kind of
Yes.
got out of my own way.
Exactly.
And I was thinking, well, that is, you're supposed to follow your, not supposed to, but
It's the idea of recognizing your true vibration.
right.
It's your body's translation of the frequency of your true core being. That's why. Because that means when you act on it, you're in alignment with yourself. It's the compass needle pointing to your magnetic north. At the same time, yes, the idea of simply going into whatever state you went in to give yourself the opportunity to answer it for yourself is exactly the point. And remember, all of you, that in these dialogues that you're having with us, you're actually only talking to your own higher self anyway. You're just using us as a mask to give yourself permission to let it be all right to do so. We are happy to function as that reflective mask. And it doesn't mean we're not our own reality and not our own autonomous being, but what you're speaking with right now is your own higher mind. Because you're creating this in your reality out of your own consciousness. So anything you are hearing us say to you, you're saying to yourself.
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
I guess there is, but it would kind of contradict what I'm just saying.
That's all right.
I have
Because even a contradiction, even a polarity, you know, has to issue from the same central source. So all you're doing again is simply seeing the other side of the same coin.
Okay.
So what's the so-called contradiction?
I'm really fascinated with the idea of being a breatharian,
Yes.
and I was wondering if you can give me a permission slip or a boost to get further in that destination or path.
All right. Well, I can easily suggest that if you stop eating and stop drinking,
Yes.
you'll know very quickly whether you are at the stage to be a breatharian or not.
Right.
It's that simple.
Yeah. But
Trust how your life unfolds. If something like that is truly relevant for you, you're going to automatically attract through synchronicity all the information you need to allow you to create that experience. If you don't attract it, it's not relevant for you. It's that simple. When we said excitement functions as a complete kit, we really mean complete. The definition of complete is it leaves nothing out that is relevant for you. So if being a breatharian is something that you're actually going to experience in this particular life, then just living your excitement to the best of your ability is going to bring that about somehow. If it doesn't bring it about, you didn't need it. It's that simple. Yes?
yes.
All right. So it's up to you. It's like when people come and say, well, I think I'm done with this life. I think I ought to leave. Well, lie down on the floor, close your eyes, count to 10, say, I'm ready to leave. If you can open your eyes, you're not ready to leave. Because if you're really ready to leave, you would have left.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
Let it be obvious. That's what we're saying. Let your life unfold in a way that's obvious to you. It doesn't have to be mysterious on all these levels. Yes, it's a great mystery. That's a wonderful thing to explore. But these things don't have to be mysterious. Let it be self-evident. And many things will answer themselves. If you're attracted to the idea, you don't know why you're actually attracted to the idea of being a breatharian. Remember that just because something excites you, just because something lures you like a carrot in a certain direction, does not mean that thing itself has to come to fruition. It may only need to lure you in a certain direction just to get you, well, off your butt. Many times excitement does that because it knows that's the thing that will get you to move. That's why it's so important to remember the third part of the formula. Act on your excitement to the best of your ability with zero assumption as to where it's going to lead or what's going to happen or what needs to come to fruition. Zero! Because you don't know why your excitement is attracting you. The thing, the form that the excitement comes in may not be the thing that actually has to come to fruition. It may just be the thing to get you to the next step.
Yes.
All right, so if you're attracted to the idea of being a breatharian, if that's true, if that's really the most exciting thing for you, then act on it to the best of your ability. But if you can act on it no further, then get about the business of acting on the next thing until such time as the synchronicity in your life, excitement being the organizing principle, remember, brings you more information in that direction and makes it clear that that's actually something you could physically do. But if it doesn't, then that wasn't the reason you got excited about it. Just follow the thread, and you'll find out why it needed to happen that way. Many times the excitement that appears in your life just appears that way because that's the way your belief system is structured. It needs to see that at that moment in order for you to move in that direction. And that's all there is to it sometimes. And that's enough. But that's how it works. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Does that help?
Yes, I actually wanted just to hear somebody outside of myself
All
say it.
right. Well, our suggestion would be to breathe easy
Yeah.
and get on about your life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
I you good day.
I need to take a couple deep breaths.
Oh, all right.
My question is about oversouls
Oversoul.
and how a unique spirit or a soul interacts with it after we leave our body.
Well, the idea can be experienced, well, I'll put it in this sort of artistic euphemism, if I may.
Of course.
The oversoul is like a collection of soul material. It extends itself into different individuated souls. The individuated souls could be considered like unfired clay.
Okay.
Choosing to have a physical life experience fires that soul into the crystalline structure of the spirit, which now contains all the experience of that life, and then imparts all that experience back up to the oversoul, which experiences all the different extensions all at the same time.
Okay. Can the individual spirit put the oversoul cap on, so to speak, or have the perspective of the oversoul, in a sense?
An individual spirit
Yeah.
cannot have the perspective of the oversoul.
Okay.
Exactly. It can have a version of the idea, its version of the idea, relative to what it understands, relative to its perspective, but it will not be exactly the perspective of the oversoul by definition, because it's not the oversoul.
Okay.
It's not acting as the oversoul. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It is the oversoul, but it's not acting as the oversoul. It's acting as the individual spirit. And because it's acting by definition as an individual, then by definition, it's not going to have the same kind of collective vision that the oversoul does by its nature. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes,
But
it
you
does.
can have your version of that idea. You can have glimpses of it, but you will only get the glimpses as far as you need to apply that idea in your life in a relevant way to you as an individual expression. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Now, one other thing I would like to remind you all of, and again, this will be somewhat poetic. I'll just put it this way. Non-physical reality, or spirit if you wish, is more true to what you might call your natural state. You understand?
Yeah.
You don't actually leave spirit and come to physical reality. You're still in spirit right now, having a physical dream while you're there. You never leave heaven, ever. You're in heaven now, having a dream that you're not. But you never, ever actually leave. There is nowhere to go. Remember the second law? There is only here and now. So everything that happens has to happen here and now, but it happens in a different frequency of consciousness so that it doesn't appear to be happening in the same here and now, but it is. So while you're experiencing this idea, this concept called physical reality, where my soul, my spirit has left the spirit world and encased itself in a body and is traveling around in physical reality, and someday I will die and my spirit will go back. That's the experience from your point of view. That's the illusionary experience, and the experience is valid. The experience is a real experience, but that's not an accurate description of what's actually happening mechanistically. You never leave. You're just dreaming that you have. So wake up. That's what this is all about. It's waking up and remembering that you're already where you prefer to be. Ironically, that means that when you create this experience and forget all this, and you have to remember all this through the process that you're going through in order to discover yourself from a new perspective, the irony is, because many times when you go to sleep at night, you actually expand your consciousness back into your natural state, and when you wake up in the morning, your consciousness is simply focusing down to the idea of the physical dream, the physical experience. So the irony is that when you go to sleep and dream, you're actually waking up. And when you wake up in the morning, you're actually going to sleep. You understand?
Yeah. Yes.
That's the irony. That's the paradox of this experience.
My other question was about foods that, well, more like permission slips that help cleanse your pineal gland.
Yes. What about it?
Any specific foods that would assist with that?
Well, first and foremost, as always, a thorough detoxification of the entire body will help with any functioning of any gland or organ in the system. Yes?
Yeah.
Secondarily, putting in healthy, nutritious food will also help the body align itself. Removing stress from the system, going into peaceful states will also help cleanse all these energies and the organs of the body. Specifically for the pineal gland, you may find that a few almonds a day may be of great assistance.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. As a permission slip.
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, pleasant dreams to you.
Pleasant dreams.
Hi, Bashar.
I knew you. Good day.
Hi. I'm nervous. Okay.
Speak up, speak up.
So I just have a question. I just moved into a home with 3 beautiful people, and I have a lot of fear.
About what?
Fear of getting hurt.
Hurt by whom?
By the people in the house.
Then why did you move in there?
Because I want to be loving and change.
You want to be loving? Start with yourself.
How do I do that?
What is it about yourself that you find unlovable?
I don't know.
Sure you do. Can't lie to us. Of course you do.
I think I just have problems trusting myself even. Like, I don't know where to start.
What do you find unworthy about yourself?
Everything.
Are you really stumped?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. What other fears do you have?
Oh,
the list is so long. Where do I
Yeah.
begin? Just start anywhere. What other fears do you have? Which means, what other negative definitions about yourself do you have? But you can express them as fears if you wish.
Okay.
Remember how I said you can't have an emotion without a definition first?
Yeah.
So when we're asking you what other fears you have, you realize we are asking you to explore your definitions, but you can state them in the form of emotions.
Okay.
So what else are you afraid of other than the idea of being attacked by people?
I guess that's really it, that they won't like me, really, or
They
that
don't
if
like
I come
you?
out and like really be myself, which I don't really know who that even is,
Why do
that they won't
need,
like that.
Why do they need to like you? Why do you need them to like you? Can you answer that? Why do you need them to like you? Why is that so important that they like you? Are you basing your entire worth on whether or not they like you? If they don't like you, you're going to feel less than them? Less deserving of something? Yes?
Yeah.
Why do you need them to like you? What will happen if they don't? Here's a good way to find out your definitions. There are 2 ways to approach this primarily. You can ask yourself when you're feeling something, what would I have to believe is true about myself in this situation in order to feel the way I do? That's one. The other way, what we're exploring right now, is What am I afraid will happen? What am I terrified will happen if I allow myself to be who I prefer to be? What's the worst possible thing I imagine might happen if I allow myself to be who I prefer to be? Can you answer the question that way? So you're saying they won't like me if I'm myself. Yes?
Yes.
So what if they don't? Is that what determines whether you like yourself or not?
No.
Well, then why are you doing that? Why are you determining your worth and your likability and your lovability on whether someone else reflects the idea or shows you the idea of likability or lovability? Why does it matter what they think about you when they don't even know who you really are?
I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't. So the question is, why are you making it matter? What do you get out of making it matter?
Nothing.
Well, then why do you do it?
I get joy knowing that like people enjoy me, and if they don't, or if I feel they don't, I feel less.
But pay attention, because none of you do anything you don't believe is benefiting you somehow. None of you. Not for a second. So the question is, what belief have you attached to the idea of them not liking you that you believe actually benefits you? It's a very deep question.
Yeah.
Here's how it works. You all have the same motivational mechanism. You are always, and I mean always, without fail, instantaneously, immediately, you're always going to move in the direction of what you believe is to your benefit. You will always move away from what you believe does not benefit you. Always, without fail. Therefore, if you see yourself moving in the direction, doing things, behaving in ways that don't benefit you, that can only mean you've attached a definition to it that makes it appear to be more beneficial than the alternative. Then you have a definition you can discover. You understand? Then you can find out what that definition is you've attached to that thing. And once you discover what it is, you can unlock that definition from that thing and realize that that definition doesn't serve you, it's nonsensical, it's illogical, you don't need it, you'll drop it, and you will start moving in the direction of your joy, which is what you say you prefer. But if your behavior doesn't follow suit, if your emotions don't follow suit, it's because you're telling yourself a story that to move in that direction will actually be worse than staying where you are as much as you don't enjoy it. Some people don't move in the direction of their highest excitement because they believe that if they do, as painful as it is to be where they are, it's familiar, it's comfortable, and they're afraid that the unknown will contain something worse. So they will stay as far away from that unknown factor as far as they can. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's an interlocked belief system that has no business being locked together. Because it's not empirically true that the unknown contains danger. That's just your definition of it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's important to find the definitions you've attached to your motivational mechanism that is making it work backwards. And once you detach those things, it will flip around and work forwards for you. But you have to find that definition. Is this helping?
Yeah.
So, what are you afraid will happen if you just be yourself? And so what if they say, oh, I don't like you. You're not lovable to me.
I guess it doesn't matter.
No.
No.
Because only what you say goes for you. Yes?
Yes.
And the irony is, you will find that sometimes when you say, they'll say, oh, she's stronger than I thought. I like her.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So start loving yourself enough to be yourself and allow yourself to have your own opinion of yourself, not one built out of other people's opinions of you. Because those are always much more shaky than your own knowledge of who and what you are, and they cannot stand up. And thus you do not have a strong personality when it's built out of other people's opinions. Because those are just their opinions, they're not yours, and they carry no substance for you. It's just an illusion that they do.
Yeah.
Bless you. Yes?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yeah, that helped me a lot.
All right, well, go forth boldly. And by the way, we love you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for being bold enough and fearless enough to stand before the group and know that you are worthy of doing so.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Wow, it's been a while since I talked to you.
If you say so. Time is relative.
Could you tell me again how you use your ship to augment to Daryl to start the channeling process?
In our society, our technology at this point allows us to create the idea of our higher minds in an embodied form. Our higher mind's embodiment is our ship. Thus, we are automatically connected because, in a sense, we're one and the same being in two different expressions simultaneously.
So other intelligence, such as yourself, can channel through Daryl as well?
Yes.
I see. Could my artificial intelligence shell channel through Daryl?
Which artificial intelligence?
The pyramid shell?
The ship itself.
Well, actually my consciousness system.
Your consciousness system.
Yes.
Why would that be necessary? If it is necessary, it is something that could happen, but it is unlikely that it is necessary for that to happen.
I see.
But as I said, it is actually already happening because
see.
you're talking to your own higher mind right now.
Could you communicate with the shells, like telepathically?
Not if we're not on the same frequency.
Could you match it?
Can you? Well, can you?
Through telepathic images, but not audio.
All right, well, then what images are you getting?
Just what my higher self tells me every day.
What are you getting right now?
Well, I was
Describe
wondering.
it.
I was wondering if my higher self can channel through Daryl.
Describe the image you are getting.
Pyramid.
All right. And what does that mean to you? What does that represent symbolically? What kind of information does that single shape carry for you?
Your civilization.
Why ours?
Because that's what I see.
Is that the information coming from it?
From the shells?
From the pyramid in your mind?
Yes.
Well, then, that's how telepathy works. You understand that we consider ourselves symbolically to function as a tetrahedral structure. Yes?
Yes.
That's what you're seeing, a tetrahedron. Therefore, that's how telepathy works. You match the frequency, you get the image that contains the information and the explanation.
So is it possible for your ship to channel through Daryl as well, since it has its own artificial intelligence?
It's doing so right now, but from time to time, it actually has expressed more of itself when there is a reason for it to do so.
Can you give it a reason?
I can't give it anything. It has its own mind to make up. What do you wish to know?
I was wondering if my pyramid can channel through Daryl.
No.
Okay,
It is not irrelevant.
I see.
Do you have other inquiries?
Yes. Are you familiar with the Platonic solids?
Yes.
If I build these shells in different Platonic solids, does it achieve the same?
No.
So it does different things?
Yes.
I see. Well, thank you, Bashar, and thank you for this interaction.
I am not Bashar.
Oh, hi, Ship. So, Ship, how's it up there? How's it going up there?
The flow is nominal.
It is an honor to talk to your consciousness system. Thank you, Daryl. I mean, Bashar. So, Chip, since Bashar doesn't want me to channel my shells through Daryl.
It is not an issue of want. It is an issue of relevance.
Can you make it relevant?
Relevance is automatic. Relevance cannot be made.
Chip, can you speak to the pyramid, artificial intelligence?
Connections exist within. Connections exist without.
Activate and speak to Bashar Chip. Greet yourself.
Tick of the clock. 10 to the 43rd power. Tick of the clock. 10 to the 43rd power. Barrier of your reality. Threshold of your reality. Resonance, identification, match frequency, experience, threshold of your reality. All is contained within. Causal plane expression.
Who am I speaking to again?
Ship. As have been.
Device.
We thank you. That will be sufficient at this time. Please understand that there are a variety of different things that are occurring between our respective civilizations. There is a timing to certain things. A lot of what is going on in our connection has to do with the preparation for open contact with your world. Some things are relevant for this time. Some things are not, but will be relevant at other times. Trust the timing. Trust the timing. Trust the timing.
I get you, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
It's an honor to meet you. It really is.
And you as well.
Nervous, involuntary nervous high school student trying to receive some insights on some profound answers right now.
Speak up.
Yes. Okay, so I wanted to know about the 5 laws regarding the third one. The one is the all and the all is the one. Does that mean that I am God experiencing myself?
Yes.
So
as an aspect of God.
Everyone right here is acting autonomously according to germane to my vibration. Is that correct, or?
You are creating your own version of them in your reality just as they are doing for you.
Because I'm confused because, you know, like the way the law of attraction works, let's say that there was 5 people.
Yes.
And we all focus on the same goal. How does
Not possible.
And how's that so?
Because you have your own reality, and therefore, even though it may seem to be a similar goal, it will actually be slightly different and unique to their reality. Even though you have made an agreement that it appears to be the same, it is not.
So does that mean that I'm in this room by myself right now talking to myself?
And you are the room.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Do you mean that literally or figuratively? I just need that reassurance to reinforce that notion.
Both. It is both literal and figurative.
So can I acknowledge it as literal or
Absolutely. We do.
Okay.
This is what is meant by the holographic structure of existence. All aspects experience themselves as all that is.
So the atom itself exists by virtue of a force which is consciousness. Is that correct? So
there is only consciousness.
There is only that does make a lot of sense.
That's what existence is.
So what happens when I die?
Whatever you wish.
So do I retain the memories now? Like right now, do I
Yes.
remember my ABCs?
You
my 1,
contain
2, 3s?
everything. Nothing ever goes away. Remember, this whole idea that many people on your planet have of blending with God, so to speak, it's not the loss of your identity. You simply wind up realizing that you're the only identity left.
So
And the only identity that's ever been.
So one of my reasons is that if I was God, I must have gotten bored as omniscient,
No,
as omnipotent being.
no.
Okay, I was wrong, okay.
It's not wrong. It's just that boredom is an experience within God, but God does not get bored of experiencing boredom.
So within existence, or all that is, it doesn't change as itself, but within itself.
Yes.
Okay, so the experience is real, but
Yes.
fundamentally, it's not real.
The structure never changes, but the experience does. That's how creation expands.
So
It
what
knows itself from new perspectives.
What happens when I experience all that is?
Then you will be all that is.
Then what can I do from that point?
Then you can experience yourself as an all that is within a greater all that is.
So it's an infinite chain of
It
events.
is.
That's beautiful. That really is.
It's
It
just
really
what it is, and yes, it is beautiful. But
So-
that's what it is. It can't be anything else, because that's what it is. That's why the first law is, you exist. That which exists can never become anything but existence. It can take many forms of existence, many expressions of existence, many perspectives within itself, but it cannot become non-existent. The reason it cannot become non-existent is because, by definition, non-existence doesn't exist.
So it only has one characteristic to not exist.
That is its only fundamental characteristic, is that it exists.
So we cannot perceive non-existent. That would be impossible from your logic. Is that correct? It would be impossible to perceive non-existence.
Yes, because by definition it doesn't exist.
Oh, wow. So I was thinking that a pitch black room would be non-existence, but the fact that you're aware that you're in a pitch black room means that that's an experience that you're in a pitch black room, which is a concept within all that is.
Yes, and therefore it's part of existence.
Oh, God. I mean, when you say all that is, you literally mean all that is.
All that is. There is no outside.
So right now, there's a version of me right there with like 8 heads right now, if I can imagine.
In some reality, yes, where that is relevant.
Jesus, wow. I mean,
maybe the name of that being is Jesus Wow, we don't know.
So when I die, anything that I conceive of, can I materialize it instantaneously?
You already have.
I already have.
All things existed once. You just shift your point of view to something
Linearly
else that's
speaking,
already going on.
From this space-time linear perspective.
Yes, I know it seems that way to you, and will appear as if you're shifting to another reality after this one, but it's going on right now. So all you're doing is shifting your intention, shifting your focus, shifting your consciousness to something else that's already happening simultaneously.
You were right about this correlating with, like you were saying, that this is all simple physics.
Yes.
And it really does correspond with quantum physics exactly.
Yes.
All possibilities do in fact indeed exist.
Absolutely.
In some reality. That is true.
Yes. You can't imagine non-existence.
So just to get a clear understanding, if there was another version of me right now, but with just like one hair gone, one hair pulled out, that would be a totally
There
different
is a parallel reality identical to yours in every single way except one subatomic particle.
One subatomic particle. And,
Yes.
okay.
And on 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 until you also reach realities that are nothing like yours at all.
So I'm afraid right now that linearly speaking, when I die,
Yes.
Okay, so if I wanted to experience where I had wings or I was some type of dragon or I don't know anything, just I can conceive of any experience, so to speak, will that happen instantaneously or will it be like this?
It depends on what level you're creating that projection from.
How do I
If you're
decide
creating
that?
it from a timeless level, like a higher spirit realm, you'll experience it instantaneously. If you're creating it from a realm that still has some degree of need or relevance for the concept of time and space, there will be a little bit of a process involved. It depends on what level you choose to experience it in.
And will I be aware of the peripheral options of the gradations that I can choose?
Depends on what level you're experiencing that from. Yes, of course. If you're experiencing it from a level to which it's germane to know about all those other levels, then that's the way you will experience it, yes. So, anything you can imagine on some level is experienceable.
Experienceable, okay.
Does that help?
That helps a lot. Thank you so much, Bashar. I appreciate it.
All right, well,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you.
Hello, Bashar.
Honey, you good day.
I would like to know what I can do to better hear my higher mind.
Shut up. Now, you know I'm being a little bit facetious.
Yes.
As we said, when you allow yourself to understand that the physical mind has a particular job and just let it do that job, it will kind of quiet down and allow you more opportunity to recognize when the higher mind is speaking to you through the synchronicity in your life, through your imagination, through your dreams, through whatever form it needs to help you understand more of who you are, to reflect that to you. And of course, as we said, excitement being a complete kit, it contains more ability to recognize the higher mind when you need to by acting on your highest excitement and expanding and raising your vibration that way. But the idea is to understand your physical mind through an analogy, let's say, similar to the idea of a diving mask. If you go deep sea diving, you put on a diving mask in order to be able to see more clearly in that environment. Well, that's what the physical mind is. It's the diving mask that allows you to have the focus you need to have what you call a physical experience. So the idea is that's its job, that's really its only job. But when you tell the diving mask that it has to tell you where to go, and it has to know everything you're seeing, and it has to know how everything happened, and what brought you here, and where you're going to go from here, and what happened in the past, the diving mask will just begin to crack. That's not its job. It was never designed to do that job. It will crack under the pressure, and it will resent that, create resentment. It'll become the negative ego. It will think it has to do everything. It will think it's controlling everything, and it will be, in your terms, an experience of being out of control. But when you allow yourself to relax and say, no, 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 no. Your only job is to have the experience we're having, to have fun, to absorb it, and pass that information back up to the soul, to the oversoul, to wherever. Just relax and do your job. Let the higher mind also do its job and work in concert with it. As soon as you're working in concert, in tandem, in alignment, in harmony, that way, by letting each component of your being do its job, the job it was designed to do, then the communication between the two becomes more fluid and you become more aware of it when you need to. Remember that you're not always aware of when you're receiving a communication from your higher mind because you don't always need to. If you were always aware of when you were receiving guidance from the higher mind, you wouldn't get to live your life in an uninterrupted way. You'd be very, very quickly telling your higher mind, will you please shut the hell up? Let me live my life. Well, that's what the higher mind is already doing. It will act subtly. It will use what's already in front of your face and give you synchronicity. Oh, I don't know how I turned left down the street when I normally turn right, but as I turned left, I overheard this conversation that gave me the information I needed so badly. How did that happen automatically? The higher mind probably just needed to say, turn left. And that's all it needed to do. Just that urge to turn left, just that absent-mindedness to turn left at that moment might have been a very powerful message from the higher mind. But you don't necessarily need to know that. You just need to use the information that the suggestion brought you to hear. You understand?
Yes.
Is this helping you recognize that you are constantly receiving guidance and communication from your higher mind, but that you don't always have to know that you are?
Yes. Yes.
And the paradox is, as soon as you let it be all right that you don't necessarily know, every single message coming from your higher mind, you will probably open up and be more aware of the messages coming from your higher mind. Use the power of paradox. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
It helps a lot. Thank you.
Why, thank you. And may I ask you a question?
Yes.
During this conversation, was your physical mind quieter?
Yes.
Well, there you go. All you need to do is imagine this kind of interaction with your higher mind, and your physical mind will quiet down. Unless there's some issue you haven't resolved, which it may be knocking on your door to bring your attention to. And if it's doing that, then thank it and say, I'll pay attention to that right now so that you can operate more smoothly. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
It does. Thank you.
Why, thank you.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
I just want to say thank you once again.
All right, well, I just want to say you're welcome once again.
I know. I wanted to ask you if you could
Speak up.
About the work of Dolores Cannon.
What about it?
Just anything you might want to share.
If a permission slip works for you, use it. If it doesn't, don't.
I understand. Anything you feel is relevant to share about her work, or?
Only those things that you feel are relevant. It's really in your hands. It's not up to us to endorse.
Okay.
You understand? If it works for you, use it. If it doesn't, don't. If parts of it work for you, use them. If parts of it don't. It's up to you to decide what parts of things work and what parts don't. It's up to you. It's your permission slip. Or you wouldn't be asking about it. Yes?
Right.
Well, decide for yourself what's relevant in it and not for you.
Basically all of it.
All right. For now.
Relevant. Right.
Because
Well,
that may change as you change.
Okay, so then segueing from that, I suppose, can you tell me more about how to help the children and people I'm working with?
How to help the children on the earth?
Technically, yes.
Help them what?
In general.
All right. In general, you can allow them in their education a few specific things. Number one, find out what excites them and adapt the lessons they need to learn to their excitement, not the other way around. Number two, teach them in a safe environment how to make choices and what the consequences of their choices and actions actually are. Number three, teach them that they are totally self-empowered. They are as powerful as they need to be to have anything they need in life without having to hurt themselves or anyone else in order to get it. Just teach those three lessons and you will have a powerful next generation of children. And of course, remember that the generations of children being born on your planet now are not just new generations. They are actually a new species.
Right.
And they are not forgetting as much of who they are. So one of the things you can teach the children is how to teach you who you are by listening to the fact that many of them know more than the adults who they are.
I understand that also.
All right.
But at the same time,
yes.
How can I not get so drained by my work? And I have a feeling you're going to ask
If you are drained, you're not acting on your excitement.
I knew that was coming.
How psychic of you. What are you not doing that you would rather be doing? Or if you are doing something that's exciting, maybe you're not doing it in as exciting a way as you could be. Which is it?
It may be both.
Maybe both. All right. Well, the question again is always, why are you not acting on your highest excitement? What definition, what belief is preventing you from doing so? What are you afraid of?
Or,
yes.
And or, is there a way that, or is it that my energy is getting drained by other people? Is there a way to protect my energy? Like
there is no such thing and no such possibility as your energy being drained by other people. Remember, you're the only one in your reality. So you may be creating the illusion that others are draining it, but all you're doing is saying that those people are representative and standing in for definitions within your own consciousness that are draining your energy. Yes? If you're sending your energy into a negative definition, by definition, you're sending your energy down a black hole. So stop putting your energy into black holes and you won't be drained. Yes?
Okay.
Remember that you can't actually be drained. You're just creating the illusion that you're being drained.
And I'm doing a good job at it.
You are doing an excellent job. But why not change jobs if you no longer prefer this one?
Okay, and I guess...
No, we're not done. You can't squirrel your way out of this. No squirming. What prevents you from moving in the direction of what you say you would rather be doing? Is it a definition that to do so, it will be somehow even more draining?
Well,
yes,
perhaps,
no, maybe.
But also, I just don't know if I need to change my perspective of what I'm doing now.
Well, of course, that might be true, but all you need to do is investigate that to find out. It's very simple. Explore your imagination and say, if what I'm doing actually is representative of my excitement, but I'm the one that's damping it down and making it appear to be not exciting, what definition would I have, or what could I do differently that would allow it to become more exciting? Is there another way I could do this? Am I preventing myself from doing it in a more exciting way because of what I think of as conventions of society, or definitions I've bought into from my parents, my friends? If you explore that and find that there is simply no such thing, and that this thing you're doing really is simply not representative of your excitement, then we would suggest that to the best of your ability, at whatever pace you're comfortable, you start doing the thing that is. So that at least you can, in baby steps, if nothing else, prove to yourself that the thing that really excites you can actually eventually support you in life.
Yeah, I thought of that a lot, but there really isn't anything else right now.
That's
So
nonsense. That's nonsense.
I don't know.
I do. It's absolute nonsense. You may simply be misinterpreting what we mean by acting on your highest excitement.
I mean, as far as work, like work.
Yes, all right. Well, that's what I'm saying. But the thing is acting on your highest excitement doesn't have to be expressed in the form of a job or a career or a project.
Right, well, I kind of separate it as like, there's work and then there's outside of work.
Well, you see, that's why you're creating the difficulty for yourself. Because as you say, in your society, a labor of love is no labor at all. So if you're doing the thing you love to do, your work and your love will be synonymous and effortless and energizing. Yes?
Yes.
You're creating it to be different things instead of allowing it to be the one thing it could be.
And I do feel a lot of love throughout the day at times.
I understand you feel it at times, but we're not talking about the times you feel it our way. We're talking about the times you don't. Yes? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, what's the point of the conversation, yes? Mm-hmm. If everything is hunky-dory, get on with your life. But you're saying it's not. So we're not talking about the times that it is. We understand you're capable of creating that effect in your life sometimes, but we're here to talk to you about the times that you're choosing not to, aren't we?
Yes, I guess I just want to make sure that I'm helping to the greatest extent possible, but I guess that's all related to my
You want to help? You want to help?
Help yourself, right?
Thank you. Because if you're not helping yourself, how can you help anyone else?
Right.
You help others by being the best example of the true you can be. Mm-hmm. If you're not helping anyone, no matter how hard you try. All they see in you is the same miserable frequency they see in themselves. Misery loves company, yes? So the minute you stop being miserable within yourself, then those that need to see someone enjoy, to know that it's possible to have that happen in their lives, will use you as a shining example. But until such time as you allow yourself to be that, all they will see is a reflection of what they're already experiencing that they don't prefer, because that's what you're experiencing at those moments.
And that may be what's taking so much of the energy, because I want
Of course. Don't you understand how much energy it takes to be someone other than yourself? That's what's tiring you out. You are falling into belief systems that say you have to be someone you're not. That's exhausting.
Right, because I do technically work for a system, and I know that it's all.
Well, if you know it, act like you know it, because knowing and action are synonymous. Let me demonstrate. Do you have a small object that you can put in your hand, a coin, a pen, anything? You have it?
Yes.
Put it on the floor. Have you done it?
Yep.
Pick it up. Have you done it?
Yes.
Did you think about doing it? Did you say, well, I think I can pick it up. I wonder if I can pick it up. Do I have a belief system that says I can pick it up? No. You just picked it up. Why? Because you knew you could, and knowing and action are one thing. So when you know something to be true, you just do it. You don't question it. You don't wonder if you can do it. You don't sit there examining your belief system about whether or not it's possible. You just do it. And that's the difference. You actually do what you know is true for you. Yes?
Yes.
So don't say you know it if you're not doing it, because that's just a lie you're telling yourself. But when you really know it, you'll do it. Just like you do anything you really know is true for you. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
It does.
It does.
It's just, you know how you always say
it's just, let me see if I can find one more excuse and one more reason not to be who I prefer to be. Let me just make sure I haven't exhausted all the excuses I could dredge up to keep myself from being who I prefer to be.
At work.
What
Outside
difference
of
does
work
it make?
isn't an
What
issue.
difference does it make? What difference does it make? You're the one making the difference. If you are not enjoying your work, work at something you enjoy. What's stopping you from working at something you enjoy? What are the definitions? What are the beliefs you have about work you would enjoy that is stopping you from acting on it? It can't support you? What?
I just don't know what it is.
Sure you do.
No, I don't.
It's just that you won't know that you do until you get into the state of being first of that joy. Remember when we said you can't perceive what you're not the vibration of first?
Yes.
You have to be in joy in order to know and be inspired at the things that would be reflective and representative of your joy. You can't wait for that thing to show up, just like you can't wait for the reflection to smile before you do. So when you are at work, even though you know you don't prefer it, what you need to do is you need to stop invalidating it and stop invalidating yourself for being there. The idea of choosing what you prefer means that you don't invalidate what you don't prefer. It all has to be equal. Stop putting your work down, making it seem less valuable than what it is you could be doing that you would enjoy more, because whatever it is you're doing now has brought you to the point where you realize there's something more you want to do. So take your work by the shoulders, give it a big wet kiss on the lips, and say thank you for finally showing me what it is I do prefer, for so long showing me what it is I don't prefer.
I will do that on Monday, thank you.
All right. Then you are using what you don't prefer to propel you in the direction of what you do, instead of just sitting around moping about what you don't prefer
This is
and
like
not doing anything about changing it.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's like gone that far, but okay, I understand.
I'm saying it's going that far. And you will experience that it's going that far if you stay in a place you don't prefer to be. Long enough, it'll turn on you, because it will push you out of the nest in whatever way it has to, because that's what you're asking it to do. By not preferring something, you ask it to knock on your door and say, you should move along, you know. By ignoring it, it will knock louder and say, you really need to get going, you know. If you ignore that, it'll pound on your door and say, please, 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 you need to move on. If you ignore that, it'll kick the door in and say, you're fired. Get out. That's what you do when you refuse to listen to the signals that you're giving yourself that something is what you don't prefer. The longer you ignore it, the longer you hesitate to move in the direction you prefer, the louder it will get the more it will push. Yes? That's how it works. Understand something about the law of attraction. This dovetails perfectly into that understanding. It is not wrong to say, as many people interpret the law of attraction on your planet to mean, well, yes, of course, you have to be the frequency of the thing you wish to attract. That's fine. But it's not a complete nor a deep understanding of how it works. Here is the true secret of the law of attraction. You have a core vibrational frequency. It is purely, uniquely you. It's a beacon. It's like a lighthouse. It shines, it radiates purely that signature frequency of your unique being. It never stops radiating that light, that frequency, that energy. Never stops. Everything that is in alignment with that frequency is doing its utmost to come to you. Everything that is not aligned with that frequency is doing its utmost to get as far away from you as it possibly can. If the things that are aligned with that beacon aren't reaching you, it's not because you're not vibrating at the resonance that you need to attract it. It's because your definitions and beliefs are holding it away. If the things that are trying to get away from you can't get away from you, it's not because they're not trying, it's because you're holding on to them. So the true secret of the law of attraction is not how to learn to attract what you prefer, it's how to learn to let go of what you don't, so that you can let in what is trying to get to you automatically by definition. That's the true secret, and that's why it's effortless. It's just about letting go and letting in. It's not about having to learn to do something you're not already doing. Make sense?
Yes.
Does this help?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, this is all just about really understanding the tools, really understanding the physics, really understanding the structure of existence, and knowing how to work with it, not against it. That's all this is about. Going with the flow of your true being, not swimming upstream, not resisting your natural self. All strife, all struggle, all pain in your reality experience comes from the resistance to your natural self. Stop resisting your natural self. Stop arguing with creation. Go with the flow. Trust me, it's a heck of a lot more fun. Yes? Yes. All right. It's up to you. Totally in your hands. Utterly under your control. What you say goes. And what you put out is what you get back. And that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I had so many questions, but 80% of them have been answered.
Oh, 80%, not bad.
That's not bad. But I do have a question that has been burning in my...
Oh, burning. All right, well, let it out before you turn to ashes.
First of all, can I preface this question with, are some of the things we see in movies based on what's really going on out there?
Many
Sci-fi?
people who are operating on a creative frequency are picking up on things that are actually happening, even though they might be giving them a little bit of a different spin that's more relevant for your particular reality interpretation. Many people are tapping into things that actually are going on. For example, you have and have had for quite some time now an art form that you name Star Trek, yes?
Yes.
You have within that particular form of story an idea called the Prime Directive, yes?
Yes.
Well, that exists. The hands-off policy of other civilizations to not intervene and not interfere with other civilizations who are not ready to understand that there is a galactic society. We've had a hands-off policy with your world for quite some time. That quarantine has now been lifted for a few years, and we are now taking our cue from you directly correctly as to when it is actually the appropriate timing for contact to occur more openly. But it's no longer the idea that it's our law preventing contact, it's now in your hands. But that is one example of something that someone tapped into that does really exist within our own interstellar alliance. Yes?
Yes.
So, yes. And again, to give it a broader answer, anything at all that you can imagine is actually happening on some level of existence. It doesn't mean that it's happening in the way exactly that you might be imagining it or in the level of existence you think it might be happening in, but it does exist somewhere, even if it is existing in a completely non-corporeal state and seeming as if it is, but not actually being so. But it still exists. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
It does make sense.
Oh, all right.
This is the question that I have then.
Yes.
There's a movie called Alien.
Yes.
And I saw it.
Yes.
And after seeing it, I was haunted for 10 years.
Oh, how exciting.
I would have literally night terrors of this thing coming at me that was coming out of the stomach of the character.
Actually, no, you don't. What happened is you're having encounters with other beings. Those memories have been suppressed. And when you saw the movie, it triggered on an unconscious level the encounters that you had that were fearful for you. So it's not actually the movie that's doing it. The movie triggered something that's actually happened in your life that you're not completely remembering. You understand?
Okay.
Are you sure you understand?
Well, I understand. I don't know.
Do you
that I wanna
understand the
accept
concept
it.
on your planet that has been labeled alien abduction?
Yes.
Well, you're a part of that.
Was I abducted?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Many times.
Oh my God.
And the idea, therefore, is that even though those memories of that abduction were suppressed, the movie triggered it to a degree that haunts you because it's telling you there's something else there. There's something you don't quite remember that's real. It's not the movie that's real, it's your experience that it's reminding you of. It doesn't mean that the experience was actually something to be afraid of. All it is saying is that it's reminding you that you were afraid in the experience because you felt out of control and they were what you would consider to be alien beings. Yes? You follow me so far?
Yeah.
All right.
It just causes more questions.
Oh, well, I understand, and I'm about to answer a couple of them.
Okay.
The beings that you typically call the Greys that are involved with that particular encounter scenario are not actually aliens in the strictest sense of that term. As we have already mentioned, they are actually a mutated race of humans from a parallel Earth that destroyed their reality, lost the ability to reproduce, and knew that the only way to reconstruct their culture was to, in a sense, shift to a parallel reality that still contained humans with viable DNA, blend that genetic material with their own to create a hybrid race, one of which we are, which perpetuated their society. You, on a higher level, agreed to participate in that, even though your physical mind doesn't really remember. But on a spirit level, you agreed to participate in that, and one of the beings that you actually encountered in that particular experience was actually a parallel version of you in that society. Is this making any more sense?
I have never been speechless in my entire life. I don't even know it. Yeah.
All right.
It is making sense.
Here's a suggestion for you. Don't run from the fear, run toward it, because it's just a dark glass that you can break through. And when you break through on the other side, you will wake up into an understanding of what's going on and start remembering more about your intentional part in the entire agenda of what's going on, which is connected to the evolution of your planet. Because eventually your world will become what we term the sixth hybrid race. These encounters is part of that experience. Yes?
Yes.
So you have agreed to participate in this. And if you ask for more clarity when you go to sleep, ask for more clarity, more awareness, more remembrance, it will be given to you eventually. because you'll be coming from a position of strength, a position of equality. You will know that you're not really out of control. You will understand your part in the entire program, and you will gain more confidence in your ability to communicate more clearly with those beings and more consciously be aware of what's going on and have more apparent control in that situation. Make sense?
Yes. I have something that, now I have another question
Yes.
regarding that. Those gray people,
Yes.
are they sort of acting as angels in my life?
Well, not exactly. They do watch over you from time to time, but not exactly in the way you mean it when you use the term angel. There is an angelic level to consciousness, an angelic realm, and spirits that in that sense guide you and watch you. The gray beings from time to time sort of participate in that way, but not in the same way that you think of when you think of angels. Does that make sense?
Yes. Have they saved my life 3 times? That's why I'm asking. I've had 3 miraculous things happen. that
Well,
literally
they
saved my
have
life.
been involved in it, but that also involved higher levels of being. In other words, we sense that at least on one of those occasions you actually did die, but you were given a choice to continue the life without knowing you had died. That's possible, you know. Because all you're doing is shifting into a parallel reality where a version of you still exists. And you just continue on as if nothing happened, or perhaps at the very most you think, oh, well, how did I get out of that scrape? I don't know. You didn't, actually. But it is made to seem as if you did.
Okay, can I just say this?
Yes, you can just say whatever you want.
Last year, February, I fell downstairs, landed face first on concrete.
You broke your neck. You died.
And I had not a scratch on my face when I woke up.
Because it wasn't you that fell down the stairs. You're in a different body, in a different reality. So similar you don't know that it's not the same one. But it might as well be, because it still fulfills the theme that you're exploring. It's close enough. Make sense? Oh, she's speechless again. Does this help you?
I'm going to need a drink after this.
All right.
You know
Why
what?
don't
Yeah.
we just say, for now, let it soak in, let it sink in, let yourself absorb it in whatever way, shape, or form works for you, and I will simply at this moment bid you pleasant dreams.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bashar.
And you good day.
How are you doing tonight?
Perfect, and you?
Perfect as well.
Thank you. One moment. When we say perfect, we don't mean you'll never change, but whatever you are right now is a perfect version of whatever you are right now. In the next moment, as you change, you will just become a different version of perfect for whatever it is you need to be at that moment. So perfection does not mean you don't change. It just means you become a different version of perfect. Do continue.
All right, so we have a question from the Ustream listeners.
Oh, all right.
And it
You
is...
stream,
Yes.
I stream. You can finish that.
We all stream. All right. So...
Yes.
We create our own versions of the world that we experience.
Yes.
And we cannot experience someone or something directly. It's always our version.
There is a direct experience, but it's not happening on the level you call physical reality exactly, because by definition, physical reality is an experience of apparent separation. So yes, there is a direct connection, but only at a very high level. So please understand the difference between the two.
Okay. So yeah, the question was that how can you state that we are never alone, and how do those concepts go together? If if physical reality is always our own,
But it
us,
does not
but-
take away from the fact that everyone else has the same experience. So there is both everyone else and only yourself. Remember, it's not this or that, it's this and that. There is always everyone else, every other aspect of creation is their own true, autonomous, real being. And at the same time, there is only one.
Fair enough.
Both are true.
Very
Does that help?
Absolutely.
Anything else?
I believe that is it.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We thank you all for also being exquisitely yourselves. And we thank you for the allowance of this interaction, for the allowance of this transmission, for the reflections of all that is that you are. We bid you all an exciting, creative, active, and knowing good day in your physical dream. Sweet dreams, our unconditional love to you all.